Hey everybody, Rosematter here, and welcome to my 7,000 subscriber Q&A special. That is a mouthful. I just want to thank you guys so much for sending me all of your great questions. It was hard to narrow it down, but I got it down to about 20 questions. It might be a little bit of a longer video, so feel free to grab a snack, grab a drink, sit down, and I hope you enjoy while I answer some of your burning questions. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first question is from Nutella. What is the backstory behind the name Rosematter? Where did it come from? Also, does your husband watch your videos, or do you talk with him about the games you've played when they leave a big impact on you? Okay, so first, the backstory behind my name. So when I was in high school, I was really big into Stephen King novels, and I was reading one at the time called Rosematter. It's spelled M-A-D-D-E-R. And we got our Xbox 360 at the time, and I needed to come up with a gamer tag name, and I was like, oh, I'll just name it after the book I'm reading because it's kind of a cool name. So it was already taken, and I ended up just switching out the DD for the TT. And I should have done some research when I started my YouTube channel because I didn't realize it. There is a makeup brand called Jeffree Star, and he has a lipstick called Rosematter, and it's spelled exactly like my YouTube name. And it was funny when I first started out, and I was getting like no views and I wasn't showing up in the algorithm. So when my friends and family, they were trying to search me up on YouTube, they would just get all of these reviews about this lipstick. And the funny thing about that is a friend of mine, as like a celebration, I don't know if it was for my birthday or something, she actually bought me the lipstick. So I have the Rosematter lipstick. So I thought that was kind of fun. And as for if my husband watches my videos, he doesn't watch the super long ones, like the Let's Plays that are, you know, like an hour plus long and you have to really dedicate yourself to watching them. He'll watch like the little compilation videos that I do, things that are a little bit shorter. And as for if, like, what he does though is he supports me, is he'll put the videos on, the long videos on in the background, and he'll like leave a like. So that's him supporting me. He's giving me a view, he's giving me a like. So he's still supporting me even if he doesn't like watch the videos. But yeah, I definitely do talk to him about the games I play, especially games like Danganronpa or Higurashi. When something shocking would happen, I would like text him, or he'd come home and I'd just burst out and be like, oh my god, this happened in this game, and he's not really following along with the game, so he's just kind of nodding. He's like, oh man, it's like, oh, that sucks, your favorite character died, oh, that's interesting. So, you know, he tries to keep up with it, but I understand that he doesn't have the time to watch all of my videos, but he definitely is very supportive of my channel, and he helps me in so many ways, and I definitely do talk to him about the games that I play when something like really shocking happens. Alright, next question is from Henrietta Jenlion. I'm so sorry. You guys know how I am about pronouncing names. Do you feel a sense of connection when you play games and see your audience interact via comments? Yes, absolutely. Because that is one of my favorite parts about making YouTube videos, is seeing the feedback from people. Maybe they'll tell me their experiences with the game that I'm playing. Maybe they'll give me some trivia. Maybe they'll give me some backstory about things or explain things to me. And if something funny happens in the game, or like I have a reaction or something, I love seeing people, you know, maybe quote the video or like responding to my reactions. And what I really love is when other viewers are like responding to other people's comments, and then there's like a dialogue going on and conversations happening. So I really enjoy that. I feel like I have for the most part, I have a very positive and friendly community. It's weird saying that, but like my viewers tend to be very forgiving of things. Like if I'm being stupid at a game, I'm just, you know, not doing very well, or if I'm having trouble with things and they explain things for me, they give me hints. You guys are just really nice about it. You tend to be pretty nice to each other as well, and I just really appreciate the viewers I have and the community we have. I think it's because I'm a smaller YouTuber, so it's a little bit more close-knit and it's more positive and friendly. I feel like the bigger you get on YouTube, the more toxic the community can be, so I'm actually kind of happy that I'm not like a super big YouTuber, because I feel like everything would just get a lot more negative. So yes, absolutely, because the thing is, if I was making videos and nobody was commenting or viewing them, it would almost feel like I'm speaking into a void, so to have feedback makes it just that much more rewarding. Okay, XYZX asks, what title got you into video games? Was it childhood or later? And what got you into visual novels specifically, as is a more niche genre in the West? Okay, so I've been playing games pretty much my whole life. My dad was a video game reviewer for our newspaper, so we had all of the systems, we had so many games, and yeah, I was that kid, you know, I was that kid who had, you know, all the systems. I was very lucky, and he's a big gamer, so I grew up with that as well. But I have to say, the game that really got me like obsessed with gaming and like a game that felt very personal and felt like my game, probably not a big shocker, Pokemon Red for the Game Boy. I was absolutely just obsessed with that game. I collected the cards, I watched the show, I wrote stories about Pokemon, I drew them. I was just full on into it, and that just really felt like a game that became my game, you know, rather than just a game to play because it was there. So as for the visual novel aspect of what got me into those, so a little embarrassing, but in high school, I would go on a website called Newgrounds. Yes, I am that old. And they would have these dating sims that were basically just an excuse to see boobs. But I like to play them for the story. I tell myself that. Let's be honest. I was a teenager. I had my hormones going. I like to see some nudity, whatever. But like some of them weren't that badly written, and I kind of got into them, and I would play those dating sims. And then I kind of got away from them for a bit, and there was a resurgence of visual novels like on the DS. I feel like there were some really good ones. I don't know if you would call them visual novels, but like the Phoenix Wright series, 999, Hotel Dusk, I would consider a visual novel. But I played those games and really enjoyed them, so that kind of got me back into it again. And of course, playing the visual novels on the channel and your guys' recommendations has got me full on back into it. Now I'm like going on Steam and I'm seeking them out. And speaking of which, I am reading your guys' comments. I know you're leaving me suggestions for visual novels. I am keeping track of them. I am adding them to my wish list. I am making lists. Don't worry. I am listening. So there will definitely be some more visual novels in the future on the channel. So yes, to answer your question, it was these horny dating sims in high school, then they progressed to the DS, and now the channel has got me back into visual novels. Okay, next question from Narukami Seta. The answer is probably obvious, but what is your favorite genre of video games? Also, if you have played any other Persona games other than 5, what did you think of them? So the lead up to what is, obviously what is your favorite genre, you'd think visual novels, and they are up there, but I'm not going to say that's my favorite genre. I would say my favorite genre is, I would say Western RPGs. I love RPGs, I like Western RPGs specifically. Don't get me wrong, I still like JRPGs, but I prefer Western. I like Dragon Age, Skyrim, Mass Effect, Fallout. I love all of those types of games. I don't play them nearly as often these days because I just don't have the free time to sit down and dedicate like 40 plus hours to a game, but I have a soft spot in my heart for those games. I do also love music games back when they were really popular, like Rock Band, Guitar Hero. I got really into those games and I got pretty good because I practiced so much. And all the time I practiced, I probably could have learned to play a real instrument, but I was actually really good at those music games, and I'm kind of bummed out that that genre of game is kind of like moved on. So I'm hoping there's going to be a resurgence of like rhythm games and music games because I really love them. But yes, Western RPGs are my favorite. Visual novels definitely up there as well. As for Persona games, I have played 4 and 3. 4 is my favorite by far. I love that game. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time. And I went back from playing 4 and loving it so much, I went back and played 3. Might get some backlash from this. Did not care for it very much. I got maybe about 10-15 hours in and I stopped. I think it was just too much. I think going from 4 to 3, I think that was just too much of a step back in gameplay. It was just really frustrating how restrictive it felt with the battle system, and Tartarus just drove me crazy. I might just do a whole video about like how about disappointing games, and Persona 3 is going to be on there. Maybe I'll try Fez at some point. I've heard it's fixed some of the problems of 3, but if I have to rank them, I will say 4 is my favorite, followed by 5, and then 3 last, and I haven't played any other Persona games. Lineal asks, is it ever tiring or boring having to record? For example, if you start a new game and don't feel like playing, but feel obligated to finish it, or you just don't feel like recording, but feel pressure to keep up with your schedule. Yeah, this is something I'm sure every YouTuber deals with at some point, is a little bit of burnout, and that feels silly to say because, I mean, I play video games for the channel. How stressful can that be? But there are some days where I wake up and I know I have to record that day because I only have so much free time in between my job. And there are some days I just don't feel up to it. I don't feel like, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I just don't feel like I'm going to be bringing my A game, but I force myself because I'm very strict about sticking to my schedule and releasing my videos on time. So I do push through sometimes and just force myself to play. And usually once I start playing and I get into the swing of it, usually I'm fine. I'm thankful that there hasn't really been any games on the channel that I've like actively dreaded playing, other than I think maybe Doki Doki Literature Club comes to mind, just because the game freaked me out and I couldn't finish it. I've been pretty good about picking the games for the channel and enjoying them. I don't think there's really many Let's Plays that I've not finished other than, Doki Doki Literature Club. There was, a couple years back, I played the Dream Daddy Dating Simulator with my brother, and I loved it. I had so much fun with it, but the problem is our schedules. It was hard to meet up and record, and like I said, I'm very strict about my schedule, so I was getting frustrated that I couldn't release my videos on a regular basis, so I just ended up just pulling the plug on that on the Let's Play, which was a bummer, because like I said, I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun recording with my brother, and we had some good laughs, but yeah, other than that though, like, I can't really think of any Let's Plays that I really just dreaded having to, like, oh, I don't want to play this, other than Doki Doki. Okay, Sushi asks, if you were a Pokemon gym leader, what type would you specialize in? So, I would say probably Fire type. A lot of my favorite Pokemon are Fire types, and I'm a Gen 1er, so I will admit a lot of my favorites are from the first generation. Charmander line, Vulpix, Growlithe. I love all of those Pokemon. There's definitely, I don't know, and Ponyta, Rapidash, love them too, so I just love a lot of the Fire types. Plus, I've got red hair. I feel like it would suit me well. On the other end, like complete other end of the spectrum, I love plants, I love flowers, I love the aesthetic, and I would love to have like a grass gym just because I think it would be so pretty. I'm not really the biggest fan of a lot of the designs of grass type Pokemon, but I love the actual aesthetics of like greenery. So in terms of the Pokemon, I would probably lean towards Fire, but in terms of like the aesthetics and having like a pretty gym, I would probably go with grass. So completely two ends of the spectrum there. Or maybe Fairy. There's a lot of cute, you could probably do some cute stuff with Fairy, a Fairy gym, plus a lot of the Fairy Pokemon are very cute. Oh, tough to say, tough to say. I'll say Fire. I'll say Fire type is probably what I would pick. Okay, next question is from Ziasan S. What is your connection with the anime manga subculture? Having watched a lot of your Let's Plays, you seem to be not as deep into the culture as most, and I'm curious about how you came into contact with it. Okay, so in high school, I was really big into anime and manga. I was such a weeb. So me and a couple of my friends, we would go almost every weekend to this dinky little comic book shop, and we would each buy our own manga series, and we would swap with each other. That way we got to read more series, because those things aren't cheap, and we were in high school, we didn't have a lot of money anyway, and those books were like $15, $20 a pop, and some of those series are insanely long. I'm trying to think of some of the manga that I liked when I was in high school. Stupid me, with limited money, I started Bleach, and that is like insanely long, and of course I never ended up like reading all of them. I can't remember the name of the creator, but a lot of theirs, Paradise Kiss, the Nana series. I'll put the name up of the manga creator, but I really liked a lot of their stuff as well. And I was also subscribed to Shonen Jump, and as a result, I also watched a lot of the anime that were in Shonen Jump. I was really into Naruto, Shaman King, what other ones? One Piece, I watched some of that. And you guys are lucky. You guys are lucky these days. We didn't have Crunchyroll, and we didn't have all of these things back in the day when I was in high school in like the mid-2000s. If I wanted to watch like the subbed versions of anime, I would have to go on file sharing websites like Kazaa and LimeWire, and sometimes when you downloaded them, they weren't what you thought they were. Sometimes you get porn. True story. That happened to me a couple of times. I'm so sorry to my parents if they're watching this video. I hope I didn't download any like viruses on the computer. And also, like, I started watching anime back when I was a kid. I didn't know it was anime, like Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Digimon, Cardcaptors. They were cartoons to me, but yeah, I really got into anime in high school. And of course, I watched a lot of Studio Ghibli movies as well. Yeah, I don't know why I'm into, I should say I don't know why I'm not into watching anime and reading manga as much these days. I think for me it's the time commitment mostly, because so many of those series are so long. Like, I don't have time to sit down and watch an anime that's like 900 episodes long. The mangas I do read, I have gotten into Junji Ito though. I have a book of his stories, and it's basically like a compilation book I bought at a convention, and it's really funny. Like, I don't know what it is. I love horror, but I hate horror at the same time. I don't like playing horror games, but I love reading horror. It's like, I think it's just because it's a book and I can imagine it rather than it being something I have to play. But yes, I really like Junji Ito, but that's pretty much the extent of the manga that I've read recently. My husband's really into watching anime. He watches it all the time. If you guys have any suggestions for like some anime series that are good but aren't like super long, feel free to let me know and maybe I'll check them out. Okay, so the next question is from Max Musterman. Who are some of your favorite YouTubers, and do you watch videos similar to your own? So I don't really watch Let's Players these days. I used to back in the day, but I just find it too much of a time commitment. I will watch compilation videos of people reacting to certain moments in video games, but no, I don't really watch Let's Players. But I do watch a lot of YouTubers. I'm subscribed to over 100, mostly gaming, but there are some other ones that I want to share with you guys, so I have some written down. So I'm just going to rapid fire them because I have a ton of suggestions. So the gaming YouTubers that I've been subscribed to for a long time, and I still watch them even though a lot of them don't really release videos on YouTube anymore, are members of Normal Boots and Hidden Block, and they're actually kind of what inspired me to want to start a YouTube channel in the first place. Some other ones I really like, PlayStation Access, Outside Xbox, Call Me Kevin, he is hilarious. Thor High Heels focuses a lot on obscure and Japanese games, so if you guys are interested in that, he might be someone to check out. Happy Console Gamer, he focuses a lot on retro games, but he also does reviews for recent games, and he's just a really just positive guy who can basically sell me any game because he's just very passionate about gaming. Madry Bread is one I discovered recently. He does a lot of Pokemon challenges, and they are just really fun to watch. And Nitro Rad is another one who does reviews on like retro games and also like a lot of horror games and indie games as well. If you want to talk about horror, if we're talking about video games and horror, I discovered Ragnaroks recently, so he does a lot of essay-style videos on horror games, and also he does some stuff on Junji Ito. If you're looking for more film horror, I really like Nick Spears. If we want to talk about movies, music, and books, I like Todd in the Shadows, Dominic Noble, and Chris Stuckman. Anime, even though not really big into modern anime, I just don't really watch a lot of it. I still am subscribed to some anime YouTubers, so I like Kenny Lauderdale, Aki Dearest, and Sid Snap. And if we're talking about just like other, just variations, true crime, I really like Rob Gavigan and Stephanie Harlow. And for just general comedy and commentary, I really like the McElroy brothers. They have a YouTube channel, and they also have a D&D podcast called The Adventure Zone. They're three brothers, and they are absolutely hilarious. I like Amanda the Jedi and Jenny Nicholson, so they just do commentary on like just random books and movies and just whatever, and they are so funny. And just completely random, I like This Is Dan Bell. It's just really easy to fall into just watching his videos. He does dead mall tours, and he also goes around America, and he stays at the worst like motels and hotels in the country, and it's just really interesting and funny. So rapid fire, those are a couple of YouTubers that I'm subscribed to and I really like. I'll leave some links in my description bar, so if any of those YouTubers seem like someone you might be interested in, feel free to check them out, and hopefully I point you towards a new YouTuber you might like. Alright, next question is from Gonzalo Arujo. What have you found most interesting and annoying about making playthroughs? So most interesting, like I've said, I really like getting feedback from people and maybe getting some information about games that I didn't know about. And I just, in general, playing the games and reacting to them and then have you guys react to them. I really like that. In terms of annoying things, nothing is more annoying to me than technical issues. I've had so many technical issues with videos. I feel like I'm just so unlucky. It's funny that I have a YouTube channel, and I joke about how it just feels like I am cursed when it comes to technology. I've literally worked on videos for 3 hours, and the editing software will crash and I will lose everything, or it will be corrupted and I have to start all over again, or my video is not rendering, or whatever, and I've literally cried over YouTube videos, as stupid as that sounds. So Nothing is worse to me than encountering technical issues. Next question is from Cybot1552. If you could inhabit a fictional world, what would it be and in what capacity? So, also probably not a shocker, going back to Pokemon, I would absolutely love to live in the Pokemon world, but not necessarily as a trainer who's going around collecting badges and wanting to be the Pokemon master. I would probably be more like working at a Pokemon daycare and just looking after people's Pokemon, because I feel like it's basically like a doggy daycare but with Pokemon, and I love animals and I love looking after them, so I feel like that would just be a dream job for me. So that is my answer. Pokemon daycare worker. Alex asks, favorite video game, TV series, book, and movie of all time. Alright, we're gonna go rapid fire here. Favorite video game, if we're gonna go nostalgic wise, I'm gonna say Shenmue for the Dreamcast. I have a special place in my heart always for that game, even though it has not held up very well. We want to talk about a game I love, and also I can still go back and play. Persona 4 Golden specifically. TV series, I'll say anything by Michael Schur, so The Good Place, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Rec. I just love, like, just happy, like, TV shows just about people just being good friends and getting along, and maybe they're kind of like a little bit weird, just weird characters, but they get on well and they support each other, and it's just like a positive show. And I feel like, especially in the world right now, we need a little bit more positivity. I don't want to watch stuff that's depressing. But if we want to go on the complete end of that spectrum, I really like to read depressing books for some reason. I like to read books about, like, the end of the world, about disease, about viruses, about zombies, about, like, you know, post-apocalyptic books. So I'll have to say, off the top of my head, like I said, I was really into Stephen King, so I really like The Stand because it's about a virus. It's kind of about the end of the world. I'm into that stuff. Feels weird saying that right now with everything going on in the world. I also love World War Z as well. I love zombie books as well. If we want to talk about movies, speaking of zombies, Shaun of the Dead is probably my favorite movie of all time. We want to talk about, like, guilty pleasure movies. I love Zoolander, Happy Gilmore. Like, those are very big movies in my family. We can quote those extensively. The Austin Powers series, so it's just a weird family movies that we like. So I really lean more towards comedy in terms, it's weird, it's like I like to read depressing books, but in terms of, like, watching things, I like to watch things that are more kind of positive and uplifting. Celeste Lunenberg asked, do you have any pets? I do have some pets. I can introduce you to them. I just have to go grab them. Okay, so first, this is Clementine, and I named her, of course, after Clementine from The Walking Dead, because she's big and round and orange. And we got her, we don't know exactly how old she is, we got her from the Humane Society, so her estimated age is about 9 years old. And I know she looks like a big chunker, and she is a big chunker, but if you guys can believe it, she was about 18 pounds when we got her. She was from an owner who basically just overfed her. The woman's kids pulled off her whiskers. She was just not living in a good environment. So we brought her home, we put her on a diet, so she's at about 13 pounds right now. A lot of this is just loose skin. She's always going to be a big girl, but she is just the sweetest girl. We've had her for about 4 years now, and she's definitely more my cat than my husband's. Like, her and I kind of bonded right away because we got to spend the first night. We brought her home. We spent time together because my husband had to go do stuff, and I feel like after that first night, the two of us were just like bonded, and then she kind of tolerates him, but he jokes that she's definitely like my cat. Okay? I know. I'm gonna put you down now, okay? There you go. Alright, and this is my dog Sadie. So she is a pit bull lab mix, and she is actually turning 10 years old in 2 days. She is my old girl. We got her when she was a puppy, and she is just the biggest suck there ever. Yeah, I know. She's just the biggest weenie. She loves people. She's just so gentle. She's always just been such a sweetie. Oh my gosh, look at this. You're such a baby. Yeah, like, I love my girls so much. I joke with my husband, I'm like, these two are my first loves, and then you come afterwards. Alright, you gonna just stay with me for the whole video? Okay, so apparently she's gonna stay with me while I answer some questions. Okay, the next question is from Mr. Random Dude 42. Who is your favorite Phantom Thief, and how did you meet your husband? So my favorite Phantom Thief is still Haru. Hasn't changed since Royal, and I feel like she still got done dirty. Still hasn't been given enough love and enough screen time. As for how I met my husband, it is a little stereotypical. We met through friends. So my best friend, she was dating a guy and she was hanging out with his friend group, and then she invited me over to hang out with them, and I saw my husband Mark like immediately and thought he was cute, but I was too shy to like talk to him, and then I hung out with him pretty much every weekend for months and months, and I would say we were friends, but we barely talked to each other because he was too shy to talk to me, I was too shy to talk to him. But we would play video games all as a group, and we play a lot of shooters like Halo 2 and Modern Warfare. And the funny thing is, like, I would be too shy to talk to him normally, but when I'd be playing video games, I would trash talk him so bad. And I'd say horrible things to him because I'm a competitive person, and apparently when I play video games, like, my filter goes out the window. But somehow I didn't scare him off with that, and after a couple of months of hanging out, he finally asked me out, and we have been together since 2008, and we've been married for 5 years. And it's funny, he's been my first relationship, so I'm pretty happy that I kind of got it right on the first try. Oh, okay, looks like she's decided she wants to go now. Okay, next question is from Osborne Kennedy. What are your main interests or hobbies outside of YouTube? So in terms of like my hobbies, I would say I like writing. I'm not a good writer, but I do like to write some short stories in my spare time. I have recently got into baking. I've never really been a good cook, but I'm really trying to like force myself to get better, and I'm actually finding baking very rewarding and fun. I like gardening. I like taking care of plants. I guess I just like taking care of like animals and plants, and I guess I kind of like to just be a caretaker. In terms of my interests, like I said, I love animals. I'm really into animals. I don't really like have any sports that I'm play. I guess like I love swimming and I love horseback riding. I don't know if you'd consider those sports. What else? I'm trying to think here. I was really into like drawing and art back in high school, and I kind of got away from that, which is kind of sad. I should try and get back into that again. I'm also really, if you could call it an interest, I'm really into true crime. I read a lot of books about that stuff. I listen to podcasts. I watch videos about them. So if you can call that an interest, I'm into true crime. I went to school for psychology, so it probably doesn't surprise people. Okay, Jen Sato asks, what game has had the biggest emotional impact on you personally? Okay, so if we're talking story-wise, and a game that like made me think about it long after I finished playing it, I'm gonna say Life is Strange, the first one. And I'm going to go into some spoilers here, so if you guys haven't played Life is Strange, I'll put a timestamp on the video and you can skip to that. So the part that really got me was Kate's on the rooftop about to commit suicide, and you can't use your powers, you have to just talk to her and convince her not to. And the first time I played it, I failed and she died, and that just devastated me because I have had friends who have attempted that, and it just really hit me really hard, and I was so upset. But I'm not the type of person to like go back and change my choice. Like, I'll do another playthrough, but I like to just kind of see the story through to the end, and then she just wasn't there, and that really got to me. And then later there was the part with Chloe when she's in the wheelchair and she asks you to kill her, and I ended up doing that, and that just made me second guess myself too. And of course the ending where you have to choose to save Arcadia Bay or save Chloe. I saved Arcadia Bay, and the ending just had me just sobbing. So I ended up doing another playthrough and I made the other choices. But yeah, just like certain aspects of Life is Strange just had me thinking about it after, being like, did I make the right choice? And just the story just hit me really hard. Alexander Vasquez, are you secretly Emma Stone? Yes. Icognito, what made you start your career as a YouTuber, and would you ever consider turning it from a hobby to a job if you had enough subscribers? So like I mentioned, certain YouTubers that I watched back in the day, like Hidden Block and Normal Boots, when they made their videos, it just looked like a lot of fun, and I always thought about doing it, but I just didn't think I had the skill. I didn't know if I, would be interesting enough, or if people would care what I had to say about things, and so I just put it off for a while. And as sad as it is, what got me into like just deciding like, okay, I'm just gonna do it, is my brother started a YouTube channel, and I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah, literally anybody can start a YouTube channel if you just have some basic equipment. And of course, being a competitive sibling, I wanted to make a YouTube channel too, and I wanted to do it better. So that's kind of what gave me that push to do it. And I just say I'm so happy I did because I feel like my confidence has gone up. I'm able to talk to people more confidently. And I don't know, it's just like I feel like it's only been good for me to do YouTube. So if you guys, if any of you out there have been considering doing it, just try it. I just say just try it. If you fail, at least you tried. But just give it a go. You really don't need much to start. And I'm just so happy that I just took that leap and did it, even though it was scary at the beginning. In terms of if I would consider turning it into a job, it's tough to say. I mean, YouTube is just so unstable that I just don't think I could. I like having another job where I have like stable income and I know how much I'm going to get and I know I can pay my bills and be okay. YouTube seems so scary where it's like month to month things can change, algorithms can change, the amount of money you make can go up and down. It just seems so unstable, and I think also what makes this fun is the fact that it is a hobby and that I'm not relying on it for money. If I could guarantee that I could make enough money to like make it a stable career, I would consider doing it. I feel bad I can only do 2 videos a week. I wish I could play more games. I wish I could put more content out. So I go back and forth where if I could just guarantee that I would be okay, yeah, I would consider it, but I do like having this as a hobby because I think it just makes it more relaxing and less stressful, that I don't have to like worry about if I'm going to make enough to pay my rent. Alright, Mary Janet asks, what was your first game system or earliest experience with gaming? So like I said, we had all the game systems growing up because of my dad's job, but those were his systems and we played on them. But the first system that was actually mine was my Game Boy Color that I got for Christmas. And I think it's still at my parents' place. It's like this purple kind of see-through one. I love it so much, and I got Pokemon Red with that as well, and I was just like, I was hooked. So that was my first game system that was mine. And in terms of like my first gaming memory, it's tough to say because like I said, I've been playing games all my life, so it's hard to say like what my first memory is. I have vague memories of like playing Mario Brothers 3 at a friend's place. I think I have some memories of like playing Duck Hunt and stuff, but the first memory I can think of that is really ingrained into my mind was my first time seeing Super Mario 64 on the N64, like that opening cutscene, because that was the first time we'd ever seen 3D. And like I just remember it like it was yesterday. Just my dad brought it home. He brought the N64. We had it before release because he had to review it. And I don't know if I was allowed to do this, but I brought all the neighborhood kids over to watch it, and then we put the console in, turned it on, and just seeing that opening cutscene from Super Mario 64 was just absolutely mind-blowing. Be like, oh my god, like this is the next level of gaming. So I can't say that that's my first memory, but that's my earliest like very strong memory of gaming. Alright, Miss Sophie asks, what are your favorite foods? Oh my god, I love food. It's so hard to narrow it down. I love sweets. I love chocolate. I love cookies. I love cupcakes. I love cakes. I love pies. It's so hard to narrow it down. I guess if I have to narrow it down to like a dessert, even then I'm like, I love tiramisu. I love cheesecake. I love just like a good chocolate chip cookie. I love mint chocolate. In terms of like actual food, basically, the unhealthier the better. Like, get the veggies, get them out of here. Don't want them, don't need them. I want pasta. I want pizza. I want burgers. I want curry. Oh, like butter chicken. Oh my gosh. And my mouth's watering. I'm gonna have to eat soon. And of course, like being Canadian, good poutine. You can't beat a good poutine, especially like if, you know, had a little bit to drink or you're just need something to fill you up. Put some like pulled pork on there. Oh, like shawarma poutines, forget about it. Get a nice like Italian poutine or even just like a classic poutine. Guys, if you're ever able, you come to Canada, you gotta get yourself an authentic poutine. I'm telling you, it's life-changing. So yeah, like I said, the unhealthier food, the better. It's so hard to narrow it down. I love food. Alright, question from Ziamet. What playthrough on your channel is your favorite and why? So there are certain playthroughs that I'm very proud of, and I'm happy that I did them because they brought so many viewers to my channel. Higurashi, Danganronpa, those are some big ones, and I can still go back and watch those, and I had some good reactions to them, and, you know, some really funny moments with just me being stupid at the game or just saying dumb things. But the actual playthrough that I'm most proud of has to be the Sims 4 Black Widow Challenge. That was one of my first Let's Plays, and what I loved about it is that I could be creative with it. I could create my own story rather than just playing a game and just following the storyline and reacting to it. With this, I could make my own characters, I could give them backstories. Things would happen on the fly, and I would have to incorporate that into the story. I did some editing with it, and then tried to make it funny and tried to make it interesting, and I just love the creative aspect of it. And I go back to some of my early videos, and I cringe. They are terrible, but I can go back to that Black Widow challenge and be like, you know what? That still holds up. I am still damn proud of that playthrough. And the final question from Cirrus: for what in life do you feel most grateful? Now, this is going to sound a little stereotypical, but I'm just very thankful to have such supportive people in my life. Not just supporting me for YouTube, but just in general, like my friends and my family. We want to talk about YouTube specifically. Even if they're not interested in games at the beginning, when, you know, I had no viewers, they subscribed, they watched my stuff, they liked my videos. My husband, my goodness, I couldn't do so much of this without him. He is my support when I'm having trouble with things. If I'm stressed, he's always there. If we're talking about YouTube specifically, if I'm having issues with technology, he's there. He's like my IT guy. He's able to fix it. If I'm just like having a bad day, he's always there to just like make me feel better. And of course I gotta like say to you guys support me so much as well. I wouldn't be able to do this 7K special video if you guys weren't here watching my stuff, commenting, liking it, just being so kind to me. So I feel like I'm just getting a big hug from everybody. As lame as that sounds, like I just feel supported from all sides, from people in my real life, from you guys. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that I can do this and that I have people who actually give a damn. So I feel like that's a good place to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for your questions. Thank you for letting me get to 7,000 subscribers. Who knows, maybe down the line I'll be able to do a 10,000 subscriber special. We'll see. I'm just so happy where I am. So thank you guys so much once again for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye.
Hey, what's this? What's this? Hey, what's this? Thank you. What's this? Sadie, what's that? Who's that? Hey, Sadie, who's that? Oh, whoa. Is that Sadie?
Is that you?
Hey, Sadie, look up, look up.